Hello, one and all. This is Step Ahead with Ernie Rivera. I am your host, Ernie Rivera, and I want you to hit me as hard as you can. No, I'm just playing. But seriously, we are going to be talking today about Fight Club. We're going to be talking about punk music. We're going to be talking about the Young's shadow side and what we can do to overcome it and to better our lives. So stay tuned.
Our Great War is a spiritual war. Our Great Depression is our lives. We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. We're slowly learning that fact. And we're very, very pissed off.
Okay, so this is a really delicate subject, so I'm going to try to broach it as delicately as I can. So when I was in college, I was talking about, God knows what I was talking about, but I was probably talking about punk music or something along those lines, or maybe going out to one of these clubs or shows or etc. And my teacher was asking me, why? Why? What's the appeal? Why? What does it do for you? And I stopped and I thought about it. And my response was that sometimes bad things happen in the world and you do not have the power to fix them. You do not have the power to correct them, to change the wrongs in the world. And with no recourse, all that's left to do is to just scream from the bottom of your soul. And that's punk to me. Now, screaming from the bottom of your soul, saying that there's not a lot you can do, it's necessary at times. Is it a final end game? No, in my opinion, it's only part of the equation. We're going to look real quick at Carl Jung. He talks about a shadow side that exists in all people. Now, some people, they keep it on the lockdown, they deny it, and they try to live as if it didn't exist. They live peaceably, but they live without agency. They live like livestock, and it doesn't sound good to hear, but maybe it's something we need to be hearing right now. So if they deny their shadow side, what is the next step in being self-actualized? And the next step is acknowledging you have a shadow side, and that takes us to punk music, to Fight Club, to a lot of these rebellions and anarchist groups. In these groups or in these movements, the individual acknowledges that he has a shadow side, and so when something strikes them wrong, they lash out. They lash out because they're embracing the darker part of themselves. They're embracing it, and so they're lashing out. They're forming these movements. In the case of Fight Club, they formed a club to fight. Later, spoilers for Fight Club, but later they formed a domestic terrorist group because they were lashing out at the world that had done them wrong. They are embracing their shadow side, but that's not the end of it, in Jung's opinion. What can be better than embracing your shadow side? Is embracing your shadow side better than living without agency? Perhaps. Is it better than not acknowledging the shadow side? Perhaps. But there's a next step in the puzzle, and that step is to do more than just embrace it, to acknowledge you have a shadow side, but to master it. To master your shadow side is to be in control of it fully and to make it work for you, to be able to be living a peaceful life, but when necessary, to release that aggression in a productive manner. For instance, defending boundaries. There comes times when we all need to defend our boundaries, whether physical or emotional, so that they're not crossed, so we do not feel violated, so we do not in turn lash out ridiculously. Um, to look at Mastered Shadow Side, let's take a look at Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And that is going to take a lot of you back. We're going to look at the character of Spike, William the Bloody. Now, he started off as a vampire. And he started off, Cockney accent. He's into punk rock music, Sex Pistols fan, etc., etc. But he is a beast who lives for violence. He is acknowledged he has a shadow side, and he is in favor of it. Now, over the course of the series, and I will be giving away some spoilers, so turn it off if you do not want to hear about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a 20-something-year-old show. Anyway, so in one of the later seasons, Spike, a vampire, a beast, he regains a soul. And that gives him a choice all of a sudden. What is his choice? He chooses to lock up that animal inside him and to not acknowledge it. So he's actually regressed a step. And that is unfortunate. It's probably the best for the time being, but it was ultimately unfortunate. As a result, he wishes to help. He wishes to fight on the side of good, but he's unable to, because he's unable to bring the pain, as it were. So he goes through a period of emotional trials, over which he's become comfortable with his dark side, knowing that it no longer rules him. He has mastered it, and he is allowing it to come out and to help whenever he needs it to. He has mastered his dark side. He is allowing it to help him become a stronger person and a stronger fighter, so that he can ultimately help be a champion on the side of good. He is a champion, and that is only possible because he is embracing all sides of himself, all aspects of himself. Going back to Fight Club.
We've all been raised on television to believe that one day we'd all be millionaires and movie gods and rock stars, but we won't. We're slowly learning that fact. We're very, very pissed off.
And again, another danger of the shadow side is that it leads us to blame everyone else for our mistakes, for our problems, for our circumstances. It leads to no good. It leads to us becoming perpetual victims, and we need to overcome that. Does giving into your shadow side feel good? Yeah, it can feel good, but at the end of the day, it's not going to do you any good to meditate on it, to dwell in the shadow for any extended period of time. All you're going to do is scream, you're going to fight, you're going to hit back like a toddler, and what good ever comes of that? If you really want to better your life, if you want to change something for the positive, you have to become a fighter. You have to master that shadow side. You have to master that energy, and you have to use it to help you to create value in the world. Almost anything in this world worth having takes time. It takes extended periods of time. And over those extended periods of time, it is easy to give in to petulance, to childishness, to violence and aggression, because the world is not how we want it to be. But it can be, if we're willing to go through the trials in order to get it that way. Will it take years? Perhaps. But our goals are attainable. Remember that always. Your goals are attainable. Fight every day. Come up with plans. Come up with better plans. And always find a way to get it done. Don't ever be afraid to ask those around you for advice. We're stronger together than we are apart. Remember that. This has been Step Ahead with Ernie Rivera. I have been your host, Ernie Rivera. I hope very much to talk to you soon. Take care. Have a great day. Smash the like. Hit subscribe. Notification bell. Bye.